Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get
Most
into
car
it.
owners, when buying a battery, focus only on such an indicator as its capacity, completely disregarding the parameter labeled as inrush current. And it is absolutely in vain. If the starting parameters of the battery are selected incorrectly, it is very likely to serve much less than the declared resource. And already in the first winter you will experience difficulties with starting the power unit in frosts. What is the starting current of a car battery? Starting current should be understood as the maximum amount of current that the battery is capable of delivering over a short time interval. The average value of the current to start the motor is about 250 to 270 amperes, and this is actually a very large value. For passenger cars, batteries with a capacity of 55 to 60 Ah are used, which is 4 to 5 times less than the required starting current. But the capacity figure is an hourly figure, and for an interval of up to 30 seconds the battery is capable of producing values corresponding to the nameplate values. This means that the starting current of the battery when starting the power unit reaches the required values. But if you turn the starter too long, its capacity will quickly decrease to the values when recharging is required. In the southern regions of Russia, the value of starting current of the battery is not so critical. Winters here are mild, negative temperatures are very rare. This means that engine oil does not thicken, and the average car battery can easily cope with its tasks. Another thing, areas where winters are harsh, where frosts often fall below 15 degrees Celsius, and oil turns into a substance resembling Kieselguhr. To start the engine in such conditions, much more effort is required, and a lot depends on the starting current. To start a car engine at plus 5 degrees Celsius, you need a starting current of about 200 A, at 15 degrees C, 250 to 270 A. And if your battery is not capable of producing such values, you will have big problems. Physically, inrush current can be expressed by the following formula: P equals UI, where U is the voltage delivered by the battery, about 12 volts, I is the amperage, and P is the power. Since voltage is a constant value, as power increases, the instantaneous value of current, in our case, starting current, should also increase. What the PT of the battery depends on. Very few car owners when buying a battery pay attention to the starting current indicator. Meanwhile, it can vary quite widely, about 30 to 40%, and a particularly large difference is noticed between products of Chinese and European production. The question arises, what is the reason for such differences? The answer is simple. In the technologies used, purified lead, even in acid batteries, contributes to fast charging, plates of low quality lead with a large number of foreign inclusions and charges and gives the charge slower, providing a lower value of PT at the same capacity. The more plates, the better. European manufacturers place 5 plates in one can, Chinese only 4 with the same dimensions of the case. European products, due to the smaller plate thickness, hold more electrolyte, which has a positive effect on the starting current. Low-quality batteries are characterized by poor sealing, which contributes to electrolyte loss and reduced battery performance. Of course, both the quality of manufacture and the integrity of the manufacturing company, meaning deliberate overestimation of performance, matter. Modern gel and AGM batteries are record breakers in PT, which in some models reaches values of 1000 A, given during 30 seconds. Note that during the start of the engine, the voltage produced by the auto battery decreases to 9 volts. This is normal, since the current increases much more. As soon as the engine starts, the voltage will return to normal, and the charge spent during starting will be restored by the alternator. Reducing the starting voltage to 6 volts indicates that the battery is on its last breath and will soon have to change it. Read also when to open the battery plugs before charging the battery. PT testing methods. Can we trust the figures that the manufacturer indicates? The matter is purely individual. Batteries of little-known brands are really worth investigating. But how to check the starting current of the battery yourself? Because, as we found out, this characteristic is very important. There are several ways to do this using folk methods, but let's face it, all of them are not very accurate. You need to use expensive professional equipment. Multimeter is not suitable for this purpose, and you will not find a description in the network how to measure the starting current of the battery with such a device. The fact is that the multimeter is not designed to measure current ratings of several hundred amperes. If there are individual models that are able to do this, they will be too expensive. So you have to use less accurate methods by means of a load plug, which is a voltmeter equipped with an added resistance. The load plug, when connected to the battery terminals, acts as a load, replacing the onboard network of the machine, current clamps. This is the most accessible device for measuring the starting current of the car battery. It is not afraid of a large amperage. Grandfather check is to turn on the dipped beam on the car. If the brightness of the lamp does not change for 5 to 10 minutes, you can say that the battery is good. This way you can cut off a known problem battery when buying it. The by-ear test is basically carried out every time we start the car. If the fuel system is in good condition, the engine should start in 2 to 4 seconds. When it takes more than 10 seconds, we can say that its starting current is insufficient. Is it possible to use a battery with a high starting current? There is an opinion that if the starting current of the battery is much higher than the standard one, its use can lead to the failure of individual components of the onboard network. In fact, such rumors have no basis in fact and show a lack of understanding of the laws of physics. You can install on your car even a battery from Camaz. When starting the engine, the starter will still be able to consume only enough current to turn the crankshaft. The most important reason why powerful batteries are not installed on passenger cars is the lack of space in the underhood, especially on cars of the latest generations, where every centimeter is important. In principle, it is possible to find a place for a cargo battery on a VAZ Classic, but here the second factor comes into force, the cost factor. High-capacity batteries are usually used when the standard battery is completely discharged. This is practiced in many service stations, and even in service centers, which indicates the safety of their use. Figuratively speaking, if you are concerned about what the starting current of a car battery affects, the answer is simple: weather. This value is enough to start the engine. On sale there are batteries for 180 Ah with rather compact dimensions, equipped with special wires to facilitate abnormal starting of the power unit. Is it acceptable to buy a car battery with a small value of starting current? And here the situation is just the opposite. When buying a new battery, many car owners pay attention to the capacity, choosing the cheapest of the suitable starting devices. As a rule, they are convinced that the low price is due solely to quality, and it is a payment for a lesser-known brand. In this lies only part of the truth. If you look closely, you can see a traceable pattern. The higher the value of inrush current, the higher the price. Read also, why shock absorbers knock, and what can be done so a cheap product will certainly be characterized by a small value of PT. And if it is less than the required value, the starter will rotate at a slower speed when starting the engine. As a result, without gaining the necessary number of revolutions, the engine will not start. Note that the starting current indicator, as well as the battery capacity, is always indicated on the front side and in most cases, next to it. The problem is that a battery with a low value of starting current in summer will cope with its tasks, requiring more starter rotation time, which will adversely affect its durability. But as soon as the frosts come, you will immediately feel what a blunder you made by trying to save money. Rules for selecting a battery by starting current. Some motorists, going to the store for a new battery, simply rewrites the characteristics of the old one. The danger of this method is that the previous battery did not necessarily correspond to your car. Volume of the power unit. The dependence is directly proportional. The larger the liter, the greater the starting current. Type of power unit. Diesel engines are more difficult to start, so for them select a device with a higher PT value than for a gasoline engine. With the same liter, for carburetor starting systems, a battery with a lower starting current can be used, because in this case its energy will be spent only on cranking the starter and in injector models, also on the work of the electronics, outside air temperature. This parameter is seasonal, but important. The lower the temperature, the more current is required to successfully start the engine. Due to thickening of engine oil, which requires more effort to run through the mains, type/model of starter. Latest generation models require less current to turn the crankshaft. This is due to improvements in their design and the use of more efficient materials. New alloys make the winding thinner, and the starter itself is more compact and powerful. Since some of the above factors are unpredictable, for example, temperature, then select an auto battery should be selected with some reserve for starting current. Table of optimal starting current of car batteries. On the internet, if desired, you can find a universal table that reflects the main characteristics of batteries, including the number of motor starts. Since we are interested in the latter parameter, we will give the corresponding values for several of the most common standards. Yen 6009501, GOST 0599 to 2002, DIN 043559, GOST 0599. 91 SEEJ 537 280 trillion 170 billion 300 million 330,000 220 350 trillion 360 billion 255 million 400,000 420 255 trillion 450 billion 480 million 280,000 500 520 310 trillion 550 billion 540 million 335,600 600 trillion 365 billion 650 million 640,000 395 700 billion 680 million 420,750 yen, Europa norm. European standard, which calculates the battery discharge to 7.5 A for 10 seconds at an ambient temperature OF 18 degrees C. DN is a standard adopted in Germany, Deutsche Industrie Norm, which provides for discharging the battery to 9 V for 30 seconds at the same temperature. SAE standard, adopted in the USA, provides for discharging the battery to 7.32 V for 30 seconds AT 18 degrees C. Table of dependence of motor volume on battery capacity. Motor volume, L. Battery capacity, L1, 0-1, 655 1, 3-2, 061, 4-2, for 66 1, 6-3, 377 2, 0-4, 594, 0-11, 9 147, 5-12, 0 198, 0-17, 0 200. In conclusion, understanding the starting current of a car battery is essential for ensuring your vehicle operates smoothly. We've explored what starting current is, how to accurately measure it, and the various factors that influence its performance, such as battery age, temperature, and capacity. By keeping these aspects in mind, you can maintain your battery effectively and avoid unexpected breakdowns. Regular checks and proper maintenance will not only extend the life of your battery, but also enhance your vehicle's reliability. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.